Wow, 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 wow. What the actual What a show it has been in the last few days. Yo guys, I'm Game Over, and on this video I will discuss eFootball's overall presentation, crossplay, the graphics situation, the roadmap, free-to-play, Master League, the backlash from the community, the name change, and how Konami will at last take over FIFA finally as a dominant football video game. Here we
El
go.
juego me gusta ganar, sea lo que sea y contra quien sea
There were some people who were positive about eFootball after the trailer was shown. The eFootball YouTube trailer was quite positive compared to the dislikes, so that has to mean something, right? And there was some really upset people, and for good reason too. Some people hated the new direction, some were eager to see what was next, some were on the fence, some swore they would never ever play eFootball even if it was free. Some even quickly downloaded FIFA 21 to try their luck. And to be honest, I did too. But after a few games, I just cried. I watched the FIFA 22 reveal trailer when it came out, and without even seeing what was about to happen, I knew this was going to be PR at its finest. This guy was so boring. This guy was a wet lettuce.
There was a play I saw where the player didn't get the ball, and you could tell he was so frustrated. Like, why didn't you pass the ball to me?
And this guy was the only one who seemed to know what he was talking about. But they all spouted complete bullshit. And from FIFA 17, when the Frostbite engine was introduced, the game has progressively got worse to the point that I think EA will not change the game engine just so they won't lose face. Or they just don't care and they know how to make money by tweaking a few things here and there every year. Why fix a broken system if it makes you money, right? The game looks 90% the same and it will play 90% the same as well. I know this from past experience playing their games, especially from FIFA 17. As much as I despise the way EA make FIFA, you have to give credit to them on an excellent presentation, minus those two people. With excellent showpieces, though it is pure PR crap when done every year. But fair play. And then there was the PES 2022 reveal trailer. I mean, eFootball. How did Konami compare to FIFA? Well, that's when shit really hit the fan. Reddit was going crazy, Instagram had a meltdown, Adam Batty was being so bombarded that he was relieved he didn't have to work after Japanese business hours. Content creators and fans were venting, and top it off, RIP PES was trending. The main issue is how much of the gameplay with proper camera angles we didn't see, or did we see too much? And how much of the content we didn't see, including game modes. If you take FIFA's reveal trailer, they didn't talk about game modes either, but we already know there is a ton load of game modes waiting in FIFA 2022. And in eFootball, we know absolutely nothing. A lot of what you see in FIFA 22 reveal trailer is in-game footage using pre-rendered videos. This is not gameplay footage, but nevertheless, the in-game pre-rendered video shown by EA looked amazing. They did show a bit where the ball comes off Mbappes' foot in a very strange way. It didn't look very natural, and you can see here already that these things that plague FIFA more than PES have not yet been fixed. FIFA's actual in-game footage was not at all spectacular. In fact, a lot of feedback from FIFA fans said it looked like FIFA 21, and I agree. Graphically, the game footage of the stadiums and players in FIFA 22 looked like they were made at Pixar Studios. This way of presenting is a massive contrast compared to the actual gameplay footage using close-up replay cameras that Konami used on eFootball. Personally, the eFootball player models on the whole look great, the locker room looked decent, and the ball looked terrific with the craters on the ball panels that you could see in 4K. So if you can, please ignore the PR hype of Pixar graphics that FIFA uses. This also gets me every time with every sports game trailer EA puts out, until I pinch myself and realise this is just a dead dream. And this of course is why EA can sell sand on a beach. Should we address the Messi video that we saw 1 year ago? Pre-rendered video. I know it hurts when Konami shows something like this a year ago and then doesn't show it in the latest reveal, but like I said, PES doesn't use pre-rendered gameplay footage in their gameplay reveals. Even at the time, I did think it would not be a possibility to have model details like that in the game. But man, did it look cool. I said so in one of my previous videos about photorealistic images, so no, that was never going to be in eFootball. But in eFootball, there was some questionable animation on Messi's face, but the camera angle I would use playing the game, I would hardly ever see that. I think what got most people mad with this eFootball reveal trailer was Konami showed 1.5 seconds of gameplay that had people scratching their heads, thinking, what the frick? Why was this even shown if it was only going to be short? It almost looks identical to the new game performance beta demo. If this short clip is going to be what PES looks like, then everyone has the right to be venting. If it isn't, and it was a placeholder to show the awful looking UI that is blue, yellow and pink, couldn't Konami have just waited for the next reveal trailer? Granted, the in-game footage with close-up camera view that was shown on eFootball trailer had some minor issues like skating and foot planting. And for those who are surprised about ice skating in PES games, please don't be. I don't even know how you can be. I remember commenting on Spoony Pizza's video in 2029 or 2020 complaining about the exact same thing. So let's not act like it's never been there before. By the way, that is one part of script, but it's used so the player can connect to the ball correctly or quicker. Something that happens more in FIFA 2022 than in PES. That's why more people complain about it in FIFA. Clips like where Neymar is doing the ball roll is clearly a bad representation of the game. Is that really how the game will look? It's just a stark contrast from what we see in different camera angles. I really think that Konami have bodged this trailer by using some unfavourable clips, and still unsure why this was shown, especially when this footage doesn't have to be pre-rendered. Clearly time was against them for the outsourced marketing team to do the awful voiceover and clip everything together. I mean, that guy sounded like I was listening to Eurosport. And what was this?
You are powerful. Creo que el que tiene el balón siempre tiene ventaja porque es.
Well, the name change didn't help the mood much, and it was a blow to every child, dog, man or woman that has owned a game of PES before eFootball PES 2021. Even Dizzy Rascal must have been proper gutted. I was gutted when ISS was renamed to Pro Evolution Soccer, or Pro Evo for sure, but I was even more gutted when Pro Evo was changed to PES, and I thought the last straw would be eFootball PES, but at least they kept the word PES. Nah, not anymore. RIP PES. The complete rebranding of eFootball has now been revealed. Let me tell you straight, I absolutely hate the name eFootball. I don't think anyone else likes it either. You can't even shorten it. Like, let's play eFoot. Let's play football. Let's play EF. I wasn't a massive fan of eFootball PES, but I could live with it as I could call it PES. But this name change is a massive shock to the system. Bad direction, bad strategy and bad communication should be pointed towards every employer and member of Konami's management team. And there seems to be a massive disconnect between the European officers and the Japanese officers of Konami. There should be no reason whatsoever to rebrand a product as much loved as PES unless massive mistakes have been made in the past. And Konami have to take every bit of negativity that's thrown at them about the game on the chin. And there are clearly some upset people. There have been, of course, in the past and will be in the future big brands that have changed their name in order to start again. Granted, some have been luckier than others. Change is hard, it's even harder to swallow when the name is just rank like eFootball. But we will get used to it.
Entonces, cuanto menos terreno de juego tiene y menos tiempo.
We now know eFootball will be free to play, but how much is free to play? Well, isn't that the burning question? Konami has tested the release of light version of PES for a couple of years now, and they must have some indication on how well it does post-release. And of course, the other reason is that they just can't compete with FIFA. Why match up against a company that sells tens of millions of copies when you can give the game away for free and in theory make more money on digital sales than the retail price of the game? Is putting Master League behind a paywall a good idea? Mixed opinions on that. The online version of the game will make them so much money they could give away the whole game for free with every mode. But let's be real, that's never going to happen. With game prices going up with next gen consoles, and for argument's sake, let's say eFootball is next gen or close to, then anything less than £40 for Master League is worth it. However, if you have to pay for Be a Legend mode, and that's an extra £40, then that would be terrible. So the pricing has to be justified. Everyone has been saying Master League has been very stale in the past few games, and Adam Batty said himself that in order for people to buy into Master League DLC, it has to be worth the investment. My main concern, however, is that Master League is going to be released post-launch, which is pretty disappointing to a lot of PC players and Master League only players. This model is very similar to what Xbox are doing with Halo. Multiplayer will be free to play at launch, but single player experience will have to be paid for. If eFootball's Master League DLC is cheaper than the normal full game price, this would surely bring good faith to the players. Plus, it's not like Konami will bring out a serious campaign for eFootball, right? I've seen a lot of people being upset that the game has gone free to play, but in reality, isn't that better than having to pay for a full game and then having to buy coins as well? If you're going to pay for the game anyway, you can now budget £50 or whatever on coins or cosmetics for the game. Look at Warzone, and if it's done correctly, that is also classed as a AAA game. Plus, the more you play, the more you unlock for free. Plus, getting free coins is a bonus. And if you want to skip ranks and quickly get more cosmetics, then it's down to you to choose and pay for what you want. I really don't think it's a bad idea unless it becomes completely pay to win, and then you have to pay to get the best players. But if PES allows standard players in the game to level up and become better than some feature players, then it won't be play to win at all, unlike FIFA. These cards are clearly an indication of new content arriving with a match pass system, and if you're getting coins to spend on players or packs, that would be better than getting 1 million GP just sitting there doing nothing. Actually, while Konami are at it, please just remove GP and stamina altogether. This is clearly welcome, a much needed part of the game, and as they say, content is king, and FIFA have that wrapped up for now. But finally, Konami and eFootball are heading in the right direction. Let's hope it won't be lackluster as dropping icon packs like McDonald's changes Happy Meal toys every week. It does seem they have a squad builders mode that will try to compete with FIFA's Ultimate Team, we hope. And the current system of picking a manager in PES is getting so old and tedious. Having a challenge to make team spirit total to 100 would be great. But just like their design choices in colour, font and PowerPoint presentation slides, is this how lazy they will be to create good system or content for this mode? Let's hope not. Early autumn is the start of the rollout for the new engine. Rollout means not at once, and in the first column there is no mention of Steam, PC or even mobile. So does that mean the game comes out later for those platforms? Maybe in time for Master League in autumn, where it states Steam in the second column. And by the way, isn't early autumn the same as autumn? Which autumn are we talking about here? Mid or late? Unbelievable. Let's also hope that modding will still be available for PC users. There's a FIFA modding community, and I very much doubt that EA has any hand in that at all. How would EA make any money on that? With a new engine will come new complexities, but the modding scene is so big on PES, I think they would be able to make something magical, as usual. The middle graphic with PlayStation, Steam and Xbox, it doesn't look like all three platforms can play fully against each other. But in the third column, it clearly states all platforms can play against each other. Unless the middle graphic by Konami is completely wrong and misleading. You know, like the bottom right image with PES 2021 mobile game on the mobile device that has a controller attached. And if you don't know why that image is wrong, keep watching. Surely no mention of mobile until winter. Surely they can't let 200 million plus downloads escape their grasp so late in the year. It even looks like eFootball will miss the Nintendo Switch completely due to development cost and time. And I don't think that's a big loss, to be fair, to Konami or even EA.
Imperative that users on all platforms can take on each other. eFootball will be made available on a wide range of devices with a view to soon making it a fully cross-platform.
And then there's the big, huge elephant in the room. Crossplay. Yeah, I said it. Crossplay. Can it work? Will it work? Well, Fortnite and PUBG said it would work, and it did. But they have the backing of Epic and Tencent. Just a little bit of a difference between them and Konami. You would think that some time and effort was put into testing this, and as they have stated, they will be phasing in or rolling out different releases, so this should help, especially trying crossplay between consoles and PC users first before it moves to mobile. Konami have stated that crossplay online matches will be further improved with a new engine and adjusted to take full advantage of each platform. What we should see, but it's cryptic in that message, is that graphics should be lower on lower-ended devices in order to achieve maximum possible performance while playing online. Of course, that doesn't apply just to console devices versus mobile devices. This will also apply to old gen consoles like Xbox One or PS4 running at 1080 with settings on lower versus an RTX 3080 PC running at 4K with settings on ultra. That news from Konami is somewhat a relief to us, but we still need to see in action. Full res trailer on next gen consoles. Crossplay has been inevitable, and Konami's 3-year plan could be a massive change of balance of power between FIFA and eFootball. Konami's biggest game in terms of revenue is actually a mobile game. Metal Gear Solid 5 was a ripple in a pond compared to their mobile division, and I really think this is why they took 2 years to develop the game. As if it was that easy, every multiplayer development team would make games for mobile for use of crossplay. And I think FIFA will copy Konami with mobile crossplay as well as console and PC crossplay next year. Why is the controller so important, and why is the example of this image so wrong, like I said earlier? Because even if you compare up a controller to your phone, you cannot use a controller on PES 2021 officially. So when was this image given to the outsourced marketing company? At the same time the new football game beta demo was released, maybe? And that's where they got the video clip of the game from kickoff? Or am I just being naive? Clearly they used an image of PES 2021 mobile for that placeholder because PES or eFootball mobile or eFootball for mobile wasn't ready. How strange is all of this? This whole presentation could have been done a while back now, and Adam Batty could be actually telling the truth. But I have to stress the communication from Konami's part is very, very poor. And it's no wonder we are all thinking all sorts of crazy ideas. FIFA only has to think of one thing every year because they have the base already set. Pretty much the same gameplay, just a different number at the end. Simples. I heard someone say that it would be nonsense not to add touchscreen controls on a mobile game. Well, not all Xbox Cloud games have touch controls. Most games have to be played with a controller. But let's say touch controls are in eFootball game for mobile. You can use at least 4 fingers on any modern phone from the last 4 years. For example, if you wanted to move direction, plus run at speed, plus power shot, and then cancel into a fake, that's 4 fingers. And anyone tried to play Fortnite on a mobile? When I played, it felt like I needed 3 more hands. I'm more hoping though the controller becomes compulsory for eFootball. This will hopefully ensure better balanced games. The biggest pitfall I can see is the potential lag and complete dropouts. Unlike Fortnite or PUBG, if a random player gets disconnected, it doesn't really affect you, as there are so many other players on the map. And this could be proper annoying if you have spent time getting your squad together, gone through the tactics and loading screens, only to have the game disconnected after 10 minutes of play. I would assume Konami will add a disable option for all crossplay. It would be nice if we can choose not to play against mobile, but choose to play with other PC or other different console players instead. But I highly doubt that Konami will give us the option or freedom to choose a specific device to play against. Epic doesn't do it for Fortnite, and Activision doesn't do it for Warzone. This could be the only year that this happens, but in reality, eFootball could be not just the biggest football video game this year, but the biggest sports video game period. If 25 million people played FIFA 21 on PC and console, and 350 million people downloaded PES 2021 on mobile this year alone, and now mobile, console and PC have the same name as well as the same game of eFootball, who has the bigger franchise by sheer volume of players? Clearly Konami already had that on mobile, but they couldn't really say that about the consoles. Now shareholders won't care. They will see a total number of players for one game name that is against another game name and will be delighted with the outcome. Some may say this is brilliant thinking and a great way to generate more money for development, but some are highly skeptical, like me. I would need to see how this all works before making any conclusive judgment. It's true that Konami have different graphical assets for each platform, and of course this takes time to test and implement, but it doesn't mean that they haven't actually done what they promised to do and deliver 4K next gen graphics. It could be that they haven't showed what is really in the game. If in fact eFootball graphics ends up looking like a bag of potatoes after 2 years of development, then it's down to sheer bad management on behalf of Konami. And I believe the anger and negative feedback is fair from the community. And of course, it's easy for me to say, just wait for the next reveal. But it's also not that hard to show a bit more from eFootball or communicate to the fans on what we will be expecting, especially after a 2-year plus wait. Is the grass greener on the other side? We need Konami in the game, otherwise competition becomes stale. And for me, as I've played FIFA a lot, I can't go back because as much as the content is insane on FIFA, the gameplay is utter garbage. It's like preferring virtual tennis to topspin. Topspin is the shiz of all tennis games. And to top it off, if the defense control system and the graphics are just as bad, then I don't think I will play either game next year and my channel may not exist. That's how strongly I feel about this. I do, however, love the attacking control system. It is absolutely wonderful. But if defense doesn't work as well as attack, then in theory, that's a broken game. What you're seeing now on screen is someone who said on Twitter that they or someone has played a final build or close to of the final build of the game. Not sure if this is real, but would be great if it is. Konami and eFootball have 3 major hurdles to overcome: graphics, crossplay, and controls. I believe that if they don't get all 3 issues corrected before release day in early autumn, this could be the true death of Konami's football franchise as we know it. If they get this terribly wrong, next time it won't be RIP PES that will be trending. Peace and pow pow.